Welcome back to our coverage from AWS reInvent 2019. And my name is Ian Massingham. I'm with the AWS Developer Relations team here at AWS reInvent in Las Vegas. And for this next segment, we're going to be joined for a deep dive into a new service that we announced a general availability of just this morning. And I want to just ask my guests to introduce themselves before we dive into the subject in a little bit more detail. So please introduce yourselves and say hi to the stream.
Hi, I'm Matt Luker. I'm Principal Engineer with the AWS Outposts project.
And I'm Tatiana Cook. I'm a product manager on the Outpost team.
And I'm Marcia Villalba. I'm a technical evangelist for AWS.
Great. I was actually lucky enough to be on this very stage last year when Outpost was pre-announced at reInvent last year. And the first thing that I would like to ask you is, what's new with Outpost since reInvent 2018?
Well, we're excited to say that as of this morning, we've launched to general availability, which means that you can go online and order an Outpost now. Since we talked about the pre-announcement last year, we've made a lot of progress in terms of bringing the cloud closer to our customers. So what Outpost allows us to do is give customers low latency access to the same AWS interfaces and tools that they might use in the region today, including EC2 instances, EBS volumes, and services like ECS, EKS, RDS, and EMR.
OK, great. And I think, Matt, you can show us what an outpost looks like and take us through a little bit more detail around how the service is provisioned as well. So can we jump into that?
Yeah, sure. So we have a couple slides here just to kind of show pictures and also give an idea of some of the requirements around an outpost. So as Tatiana mentioned, Outpost is now live. We've launched it. You're going to see an image here on your screen. That's an actual Outpost unit. You can get Outposts in various configurations to fit your EC2 compute needs. The Outpost rack is it's a standard data center space. You can see some of the requirements here. We also try to gather information from you, and we're going to go through a little bit of what the actual ordering experience and configuration experience looks like. You'll see where you enter this kind of information to help us understand what your site is capable of and whether or not your site has a good mix for the kind of configuration you're looking at. So one of the things we call out here is enterprise support is a part of the requirements for acquiring an Outpost. This is so we can give you the highest level of support. And let's move into some of the other.
Yeah.
We got a slide to show here, right?
Yeah. So we can actually show you what an Outpost installation looks like. So for us to be able to provide you with low latency access, we take the same equipment that we have in our data centers, and we'll come and as part of a fully managed service, we'll install that on your site. Once the Outpost is installed, we provide maintenance. And what you're able to do is see that capacity from your console, and within the same VPC, launch instances to a subnet that's located on premises. So we can show you a little bit of what an actual installation of an Outpost looks like, and then we'll go through some of the steps for how you order an Outpost and get started.
Yeah. So this next slide, we've got a bit of a video here that shows what an installation looks like. And let's see here. Whoop. Technical difficulties. Let me try that one again there.
While you do that, I have a question on Twitch. They are asking if Outposts are available only in the regions where AWS has presence, so maybe you can say where Outposts are available.
Yeah, so today, as of our launch, Outposts are available, and you can see more information about this from our site. In the US, we have Outposts available in all EU countries, in Switzerland, in Norway, Australia, and Japan, South Korea.
Cool.
Over time, we're looking to be present in other countries. It won't be limited to areas where we have regions.
So they can check on the website what is the status on Outposts.
Yep.
OK, let's see if I can click the arrow this time correctly.
Let's go for it, Matt.
I am an engineer.
A principal engineer at that.
So
yep.
You want to walk through this, Tatiana?
Yeah, so what you're seeing now is video of an actual Outpost installation. The team arrives at your site, they check the Outpost rack, and they'll roll it into position for you. From there, they connect power and networking, and the Outpost is configured so that capacity comes online. And we consider the installation complete once you can start launching instances from the AWS console.
Maybe we should start with how they initially get actually to the place of ordering the Outpost.
Perfect. Do you want to show us what that looks like?
Sound good?
Yeah, cool.
All right.
Let's do that.
So I have brought up our console, and here you can see the landing page for the AWS Outpost. So we have a couple of links here. We've got information. You can see more information about the Outpost program, how it will work with your specific workloads. We've got the ability to create an Outpost. And so we're going to just kind of walk through this workflow. And then later on, we're going to look at browsing the catalog and how that works. So we click on Create an Outpost. This takes you to this page.
And quickly before we create one, can you tell everyone what an Outpost is? Because I think that's one question that we get a lot.
So what is an outpost? An outpost brings EC2 capacity to your premises. It's the same AWS cloud experience that you're already used to, except now it's running local towards the kinds of items that you have on premises. This could be data, this could be legacy services, this could be also IoT and very time-sensitive applications.
Yeah, and it's really the pool of capacity that you have. So what Matt's about to create here is a configuration that will capture all the EC2 and EBS resources that you might have installed on your site, even if that includes multiple racks.
Yeah, and what you're looking at here is this is actually a logical component. Here we define the outpost. The outpost definition here in the website is something that you then start adding additional capacity to over time. So you start off with what meets your needs, and you can continue to add more capacity as your needs change. So as you can see here, you can name the outpost something like My Outpost. Oh my, we're going to get to see my typing in all of its horrible glory. And you can put in a description here, my description. Well, there we go. So this is just basic information that you're going to type in that allows you to then reference the outpost later. I've already created an outpost, so we're going to refer to that one. But also you'll see down here at site. Now we mentioned that in the previous slides about the fact that the site allows you to define the capabilities, the constraints of your site. So let's go ahead and take a look at what Create Site does. This is going to bring up another tab. And so underneath here, we're going to start off with first, where's your site address? We need to know where we're going to send this actual physical component. So you put in your address here. And then down here, we start getting into the facility conditions and requirements. Do you want to talk to some of this, Tatiana?
Yeah, so what we're expecting with an outpost is that you'll provide the typical conditions you'd see in a data center. So we need a position where you can have a 42U rack. We have a standard set of temperature requirements, space requirements that are listed here. And then we'll need a clear path to installation. We also will capture information from you about power. An outpost rack requires between 5 and 15 kVA of power. We have a variety of power connector options, like L630 is pretty standard, as well as networking information that we capture so we can map the outpost to your on-premises network during the installation process.
Yeah, you're also going to see some notes here just for our installation team, such as like where your power feed comes. Is it from the top? Is it from the bottom? Yep. It's just information to make the installation much more smooth. Then we get into your network information. This tells us like what kind of networking you plan to hook the outpost up to. Oh, I also talk about opticals, like what kind of optics you're going to use to connect. And then you name your site.
And you're good to go.
And you're good to go. So again, this is kind of a little bit like a cooking show. I'm showing you how we're going to do it, and then I'm going to switch back to the pre-made.
But before maybe we can answer some Twitch questions, they were wondering what happened with the support. What happened if there is a problem, or you want to add capacity, or if something fails, how that works?
That's a great question. So the AWS Outpost is a service. So yes, we use hardware to deliver this service to you, but AWS fully manages this hardware on your behalf. So just like you're used to in the region today, if there's a problem with the server your instance is running on, you'll get a degrade notification that tells you it's time to move your instance to another server so that we can take care of that one. You'll get the same notification for your Outpost, except in addition to that, we're going to reach out to you and schedule a replacement. So we have an SLA in terms of like arriving on time with the server. We're going to, again, our installation team will arrive, bring that server, they will remove the bad one, and replace it with the new one.
Yep. And Outposts are designed with redundant capacity so that you can move your instances to healthy capacity within the same rack. Our team will be on site in 2 business days to perform any physical repairs.
Yep. And what about expansion? So say I've exhausted all the capacity that I've got in rack 1. Can I then order an additional and have that connected into the same footprint?
Yeah, we're designing Outposts to be able to grow so that you can add capacity over time. You'll be able to monitor your capacity utilization from the Outpost management dashboard. And if you're interested in adding more EC2 instance capacity or EBS volumes, you can let our team know, and we'll work with you to have folks come on site with additional hardware.
OK, great.
So shall we continue?
Yeah, let's see how you actually place an order for one of these.
That would be great. OK, so I'm going to close this one and go back to here. Let's actually start over. I've got an Outpost already pre-created. I've creatively named it Data Center 1 Outpost. So let's click on this just to see some of the information about this Outpost. So here you can see some of the information that you would enter as a part of creating the Outpost. You've got the Outpost description. You've got its name. Over here, you're going to see your account number. Here we've got the site ID. Again, we created the site. We described what our site capabilities are, our clearances, what kind of power and cooling we have. As a part of creating my Outpost, I attach it to a given availability zone. So I have chosen US West 2, and specifically US West 2A's availability zone. The Outpost is now logically attached to that availability zone. And so any capacity that I create will be seen as an extension of that availability zone. OK, so the whole point here is to actually add some capacity.
Yeah, let's take a look at the catalog.
Catalog.
There's a question on the stream which I think we should address here, and I'm going to read this verbatim because it's funny. I wonder where this outpost is located. Pan over to broom closet in the Bellagio.
Oh,
said
just wait.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
It's not in the broom closet in the Bellagio, though,
No,
right?
it's not in the broom closet in the Bellagio. And there's hopefully going to be time for another demo because we do actually have a live outpost that we are doing a bit of a demo against. So
Stay tuned.
that one, actually, you saw the video earlier. It was that outpost. So that outpost was getting installed. So we're actually going to like interact with that outpost later.
And where physically is that?
I am told that it is 15 miles down the road at a data center.
So it's here in Las Vegas,
It
Nevada.
is here in Las Vegas.
Yep.
Okay.
And so that's also going to kind of like allow us to talk a little bit about locality in terms of having actual compute near us. Okay? Catalog?
Catalog.
All right, so we're going to go to the Outpost catalog. So here you're going to see a selection of various Outpost configurations. So we talk about these Outpost configurations in terms of what kind of EC2 capacity they're going to deliver to you on site. Again, the Outpost itself is a logical construct. You choose to fill that Outpost with whatever kind of capacity you want. So this is going to be an initial order that starts you off with what kind of capacity you need. So
But what's great is that you can add more capacity, as we'd mentioned with Ian, over time. So we'll choose an Outpost here. Maybe we want a mix of like C, M, our instance types.
Sounds like we need a mixed capacity, and go big or go home.
And I think you said you had 15 kVA of power at the position.
I did say I had 15 kVA. Great. So I believe we're going to use this one right here. This is the mixed capacity large unit. It's for shared use. The idea here is, again, an Outpost, it provides you capacity on site. However, it uses all the concepts you're used to in AWS in terms of regions. You've got the VPC, IAM. You can create subnets. You can choose to share them amongst your teams. So really, this mixed use unit will allow multiple dev teams to execute workflows on site.
I think one question that is quite relevant is why you want to use Output and not AWS, like physical infrastructure in the cloud, because that's something that is coming in Twitch in all different questions.
So the advantage of having an Outpost on site is that the Outpost uses a construct called a local gateway to map to your local network. So if you're looking for really low latency response times, maybe you have an industrial IoT workload that you need to react to really quickly, or you have a lot of data that you want to process on premises without streaming it back to the AWS region, Outpost is great. So we hear from customers in a variety of industries. You might be doing image processing on site, and it's great for you to have EC2 instances, maybe an RDS database locally, so you can process that information.
That's good. Thank you.
Great.
OK, so we're going to choose this mixed capacity large unit. OK. So I've selected this here in the catalog user interface. I go over here to this nice orange place order button. I'm now going to get to choose which Outpost I want to apply this order against. So if you had multiple Outposts, perhaps you wanted to set up Outposts connected to different availability zones, or maybe you want Outposts connected to 2 different regions, you'll have an option now to choose them here in this dropdown. Now, I've only defined 1 Outpost in this account, so we're going to choose our Data Center 1 Outpost. I should have picked a more fun name, but OK. So we click Place Order. And ta-da. OK, so here's our thank you page. Tatiana, what's going to happen now that I've placed this order for an Outpost?
Yeah, so now that you've placed the order, our team gets information about your site, about what kind of capacity you're looking at. Someone will contact you in 3 business days. And in the meantime, you'll be able to look, and if you actually go back to your Outpost page within the console, you'll be able to track the status of that order. So you can see kind of where we are in terms of receiving your order, processing it, and delivering and installing it.
Do you want to go back to that page?
Yeah, let's take a look.
OK.
And then what we'll also be able to show you after this is a little bit of the experience that you can have coming back to some of that low latency once an Outpost is actually installed.
OK, so we're back to my Outpost page. If you remember, again, I placed that order. I chose the Outpost I wanted it on. So now I'm on that Outpost. I click on Orders, and there's our order right there. And you can see the status is currently order received. As this status changes, you're going to be able to get these updates. Also, we'll be reaching out to you. We'll be talking with you. So this is the order. It's been placed. Would we like to demo a little bit about the Outpost and its latency?
Yeah, sure.
OK,
One other question that has been asked. How about the support that, for example, EC2 gets updates, how my output gets updates?
So we consider your outpost to be an extension of the availability zone that it's mapped to. So as we have new either security patches or features that are made available, just as we roll those out to be available in an availability zone, we'll roll that out to your outpost. So for all of the services that you're running locally, whether that's EC2, EKS, ECS, you'll get all the updates and capabilities as those become available in region.
And I imagine that Outposts follow the shared responsibility principle that AWS, because they were asking about the security as well.
Yep, the big change for Outposts is we have the same shared security model that you would have for workloads you're running in the AWS region, but in the case of Outposts, because they're physically located on your site, you take on some additional responsibility for the security around the Outpost itself.
That's very important to be aware of.
Great, so it looks like Matt's got something going on over here. Do you want to tell us what this is?
Sure, okay, so first of all, on your screen, you'll eventually see this dashboard. What we have here is what we've been calling at the booth, the big red button. This is running Greengrass. We've got a device in here that every time you hit the big red button, it reaches out to our outpost and executes a workload. And then on the, keep hitting that button, it's important. As you hit the button, this continues to reach out to the outpost and execute a workload. This is right now kind of measuring latency to the various regions where we've installed these workloads. So on the screen, we've got some metrics here. So we start first with our metric in Las Vegas. And this is just CloudWatch. You just saw it doing an update there. The latency to our data center down the road, executing this workload, 1.8 milliseconds. That's our average latency right now. And as you can see this go up, we reach out to Oregon, we go up to 20 seconds. Over here in Northern California, which is really geographically the closest region to us right now, we've got 15 milliseconds. We've got Ohio, that's 64, and as it keeps going up. What we're trying to demonstrate here again is there's many different ways that you can use the Outpost to kind of manage your workloads, but one of the ones that we've heard repeatedly from customers is where, as you mentioned, they've got an IoT workload, they've got low latency concerns, they have to keep it under 5, possibly 2 milliseconds. Here, what you see is that the Outpost running just even 15 miles down the road has really great latency compared to what you would see executing against the region. And so the button is very fun to push.
Yeah, also it's a fun button, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big red button. It's a big easy button. So, so again, that kind of shows the Outpost executing. You can run any normal EC2 workload, you can run it inside an Outpost.
Yep. Can you show the instance launch experience?
The instance launch experience, oh my goodness.
Yeah, we can try to get that set up. We may not have time to go through that right
so
now,
we've only got 2 minutes left, so I was just concerned about whether we have time for it.
Well, the thing I will call out is the EC2 instance launch experience is more or less exactly the same.
Yep.
The thing you have here is you've installed an Outpost, you've defined an Outpost, you then take a subnet and you target that subnet towards your Outpost. So if you've used Create Subnet before, you'll get the various availability zones to target. What you would see here is the availability zones for PDX, and then you'd see your Outpost. You choose that subnet to target it at your Outpost. Any instances you launch against the subnet, they launch in this Outpost.
And it's integrated with CloudFormation, CloudWatch, a lot of the management and development tools you use in the region. So if you're using those today, you can use those for instances on an Outpost as well.
Great, excellent. Okay, any other questions from the stream that we want to get to?
There is some questions about how the redundancy is managed with Outposts, but
yeah, so what we'll do is for Outposts that are designed for production workloads, we'll reserve a portion of capacity as capacity that's held in reserve as hot spares. And in the case that kind of with this migration that Matt had talked about, if we have to issue a retirement notification, we'll bring that capacity online so you can move your instances over to that healthy capacity while we work on coming to site and swapping a replaceable unit in to bring that full capacity back online.
So you should not have any downtime.
Yeah, exactly. Designed for high availability, we also have redundant networking switches and we support redundant power so that you can also provide great network connectivity and good power to the Outpost in its position.
That's great. I noticed the question about regional availability is being asked again, and particularly about Europe. So we've answered that in the stream, but Outposts are available in all EU countries, plus Switzerland and Norway in the European region as well.
And the UK, depending on how that shakes out.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got 30 seconds left. We'll wrap up this segment by saying thanks for joining us to the Outpost team. It's been great to see the demo. If you want to learn more about this launch, visit the product detail page. It's AWS.amazon.com/outpost. You'll find a load more information there. And we'll be back in a few minutes to wrap up the day with a quick recap of some of the major launches that we've covered on the AWS Launchpad here from AWS reInvent in Las Vegas. We'll see you very, very soon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.